Hi friends. The other day, as often happens when I'm trying to avoid writing videos that I should be writing, I came across a tweet. The tweet said, "It's so weird that BRB and G2G aren't really a part of texting anymore like they were with AIM. Like, instead of clear temporal boundaries, you're now just constantly a little bit texting until an awkward peter off. I miss G2G." Many of the replies to that tweet were also like, "Yes, I miss this," or "This seems like a symptom of the larger societal shift of how we're all working all the time and we have to answer our boss's emails in the middle of the night and all of us are so burnt out. Will somebody please let us free from our phones?" Which is a pretty convincing argument, except were you ever texting your boss G2G? So what happened? What killed BRB? Now, I'm not a linguist, but I am a woman who took a handful of linguistics classes in college, so I will start talking your ear off about global Englishes at a party until everyone walks away. That said, I did read a book by a real linguist that I think might have some answers for us. In Gretchen McCulloch's Because Internet, which is an exploration of how internet language works, she talks about different generations of internet people that work as like waves of when people started using the internet on a regular basis. There's old internet people, the niche hobbyists who were hand coding HTML websites before most people even had internet access in their homes. Their first internet experiences were literally, and by literally I mean figuratively, building the plane as it flew. As old internet people started to socialize with other old interneters, they created abbreviations to save typing in an actual collective index that functioned kind of like an internet dictionary. That's where abbreviations like BRB and G2G first got formalized in the early 90s. And that's also when the next wave came in. The one that I came in on, the youths of the late 90s and early 2000s whose first internet hangouts were AIM chats and MySpace and, Neopets and shit. Some of us used it to talk to our friends outside of school, but some of us used it to make friends because we didn't have any in school. Shout out to the Fall Out Boy fan message boards of 2005. We were that weird slice of internet history where we knew all the intimate details of our friends' lives except for their first names. And somehow we picked up LOL and BRB not from an internet dictionary, but almost in the same way we pick up mama and dada as babies. It was just around. And it was useful. Like, what I remember most about the time is that you had to dial up because you literally connected through your phone line, right? So you couldn't use the phone and the internet at the same time. So maybe I'd be chatting to my best internet friend in Pennsylvania, but my mom needed to use the phone. Now, I wasn't gonna just disappear in the middle of a conversation, that'd be super rude. So I'd hit her with the BRB and then get back online the moment my mom was done with her call. We used BRB and G2G because they were really useful for the specific context of how we used the internet. But then the internet changed and our language changed with it. In 2007, Facebook opened up to users of any age, and in came the wave of people who used the internet primarily to socialize with people they already knew IRL. But something else happened in 2007 too. The first iPhone was released. Smartphones meant you could start to take the internet anywhere, which also meant you could take work anywhere. Calling back to our earlier argument about how capitalism killed BRB, that seems kind of like a separate but parallel problem. But again, I'm not the linguist here. Go ask Gretchen, she has a good Twitter. The internet stopped being a place that you go, as in you sit down in front of your computer and plug an Ethernet cable into it and listen to a bunch of horrible, awful screeching sounds before you can say hi to your friends. Maybe BRB and G2G fell out of use because they just weren't useful anymore. Why would I tell you I've got to go if I can just take you with me? So as the internet wave that came up with Facebook blurred into the internet wave that came up with platforms like Snapchat and Instagram and WhatsApp that you can only access on a mobile phone, we got better and better at asynchronous conversation. Because we don't need to both sit down at our desktop computers at the same time to chat, we can talk all throughout the day, wherever we are, and also not talk. Like that tweet said, we just kind of trail off when we need to trail off and pick back up when we're ready to. It's almost like we don't need BRB anymore, just like we don't need to look up what LOL means in a centralized jargon index. Unannounced breaks in conversation have just sort of become part of our understanding about how this whole thing works. But how things work on the internet can change, and fast. I think it's kind of interesting that around the same time that because internet came out and around the same time of this tweet about I miss G2G, we also get a bunch of books like How to Break Up with Your Phone and Digital Minimalism and How to Do Nothing that are aimed at people who feel overwhelmed by the pressure to be online all the time or feel a little too attached to the devices that let them do it. They try to help people who want better work-life balance, but also want to not sleep with their phone on their bedside table or even go outside and leave their phone at home. So if this cultural moment around disconnecting gains momentum, and if enough of us change our behavior, our language will probably change with it. Maybe we'll come up with the next iteration of BRB that marks that we're choosing to tap out of a conversation even though we have the tools to continue it. I mean, we've already come up with sorry just saw this, which is a garbage lie, but we all accept it as kind of like a polite substitute for I just needed to ignore you for a while. But the more we create uses for it, the more we'll find language to use. In the comments, tell me what you think will be the way that we mark asynchronous conversation in the future. What's going to be the next BRB? And if you're from the same internet wave than I am, you could also leave a comment and tell me what your first AIM screen name was. Mine was XKillerPirateX, and I will give you no further context. If you like this video, you can click on the notification bell so that you can hear about the next one I make, or you can go to my Patreon and pledge $1 to support me in writing and editing and captioning the next one, and I will ttyl. Bye.
Hey, LOL.